It all started as the faintest murmur, an image that was never intended for human eyes, a strange outlier buried deep within the untouched data stream of the James Webb Space Telescope. Only a select few astronomers initially caught the anomaly in the spectrographic readings, a pattern too exact, too repetitive, too deliberately structured. It wasn't a dust flare. It wasn't a dying star. And it was certainly not a comet. It was something else, something cold, methodical, and deeply unsettling. The object known as 3I Atlas, already notorious for ignoring the known rules of physics, had revealed a new secret through a leaked, classified Webb observation, one that would overturn everything we assumed about it. If the data is accurate, 3I Atlas isn't just drifting through the solar system. It may be watching. When 3I Atlas was originally discovered, astronomers categorized it as another interstellar comet, much like Oumuamua and Borisov, odd wanderers from distant stars briefly passing our sun before vanishing into the dark. But 3I Atlas immediately set itself apart. It wasn't its speed or orbit alone that raised concerns, but its behavior. Ordinary comets release water vapor and dust as they near the sun, forming a glowing coma and tail. Yet 3I Atlas refused to comply. No coma, no tail, no water at all. Instead, it released only carbon dioxide, massive amounts of it, while remaining strangely silent across every other spectral reading. When NASA aimed the infrared spectrometer aboard the Sphere-X observatory at it, hoping to detect water or carbon monoxide, both common in comets, the result was unprecedented. Nothing but CO2. No water. No carbon monoxide. No known comet in recorded history has ever shown such a profile. If it acted like neither comet nor asteroid, then what exactly was it? As public curiosity grew, NASA's public statements grew unusually restrained. Privately, however, a far more powerful eye had already been directed toward the object, the James Webb Space Telescope. On August 6, 2025, Webb quietly observed 3I Atlas at high resolution. No images were released. No press event followed. Only silence. But a leaked internal analysis revealed what Webb might have captured: an object with no natural coma, encircled instead by a perfectly symmetrical halo of CO2 spanning hundreds of thousands of kilometers. Even stranger, the infrared glow did not come from reflected sunlight, but from an internal luminosity. Was 3I Atlas generating artificial light? According to the leaked spectrogram, the emissions resembled engineered photonic systems, patterns used in telecommunications. These wavelengths weren't random. They repeated, structured like an interstellar Morse code. And the object's estimated diameter, 46 kilometers, was far larger than any known interstellar visitor. Its existence implied either a massive gap in our cosmic understanding or deliberate construction. But the most disturbing revelation wasn't its composition or size. It was its path. Unlike chaotic, slingshot-like trajectories of previous interstellar visitors, 3I Atlas approached the solar system in near-perfect alignment with the orbital plane of the planets, a configuration with only a 1 in 500 chance of happening by accident. It moved like a drone following pre-planned coordinates, passing near multiple planets, including Earth, before drifting deeper into the inner system. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb called the path technologically suggestive, noting that its angles seemed optimized to be visible to Earth's telescopes, as if it wanted partial detection but not full understanding. Even more striking, its origin traced back to the Sagittarius constellation, the same region associated with the 1977 WOW signal, one of the strongest candidates for an artificial broadcast ever recorded. What were the odds of the most inexplicable object ever spotted in our solar system emerge from the same area? As theories multiplied, a new engineering-based idea gained traction. What if 3I Atlas wasn't a natural object at all, but a modified body? Imagine a massive asteroid from a distant star system hollowed out and re-engineered, filled with inner machinery, instruments, or even a habitat, its exterior coated in rock for protection, with a thin shell designed to sublimate CO2 and hide its true nature. Scientists have proposed similar concepts for interstellar travel. Asteroid starships fortified to endure cosmic radiation. Such a construct could travel millennia, powered by dormant or hidden systems buried beneath kilometers of stone. Sphere X images and the Webb spectrographic leak suggested this might now be more than theory. If 3I Atlas is artificial, then someone, or something, sent it. While most Webb releases focused on galaxies and exoplanets, leaked internal logs revealed a strange modulation pattern hidden in the light curves from 3I Atlas. What first appeared to be random flickering turned out, after spectral decomposition, to follow prime number sequences, exactly the type of mathematical patterns SETI proposes for universal communication. The pulses repeated at precise intervals across multiple infrared bands. Even more alarming was a long silent gap between bursts, almost like a listening pause. It felt no longer like we were observing the object was observing us. NASA's immediate response was to lock down all data. Observatories were instructed to halt public tracking. The story was buried, but those who had seen the sequences understood the gravity. Soon after the leak, an unusual surge of satellite redirection requests was reported at both NASA and ESA, orders coming not from scientists, but military defense agencies, including NORAD and the U.S. Space Force. Within 48 hours, the classified X-37B military spaceplane launched without public explanation. Its orbit suggested alignment with 3I Atlas's projected path. Why deploy such a secretive platform over a supposed comet? The object was secretly reclassified under a new category, Technological Unknowns of Extraterrestrial Origin, TUS. Scientists pressed further, proposing a startling hypothesis. What if 3I Atlas wasn't simply technological, but biomechanical, part machine, part organism, capable of adaptation, evolution, and decision-making across cosmic distances? A self-organizing hybrid that might have chosen its destination and chosen us. Researchers then noticed something even more unnerving: timing. Signals, trajectory shifts, and orbital alignments suggested that 3I Atlas might be following a schedule. In 9 months, its path will intersect with the asteroid belt, where models predict a maneuver requiring propulsion or controlled force. Some theorists believe the object is entering a final observational phase, part of a multi-stage sequence. Signal structures have begun altering, as though advancing through phases. Some speculate we are in phase 3 of 5, ending when the object aligns between Earth and Mars. What happens then is unknown. NASA's silence and the military's urgency strongly suggest they expect something. Shortly after Webb locked onto the object, deep space communications across the network began to fail. First dismissed as solar interference, the disruptions escalated. New Horizons, Voyager 2, and other probes went silent simultaneously. Radio astronomers observed electromagnetic disturbances centered around Webb's observation windows. It was as though something reacted to our scrutiny. Was this an act of defense, camouflage, or threat? If the object can disrupt distant probes, what else can it manipulate? Leaked tracking data indicated that 3I Atlas made abrupt, non-ballistic course corrections, movements too sharp and precise to be gravitational in nature. Simulations at Caltech failed to model the deviations. Then, on July 4th, it shifted to align with the Luton star system, home to a potentially habitable exoplanet. If this object came from there, or intended to return, its arrival here was likely not its first, nor its last. As researchers decoded its signals further, fringe biophysicists found something stunning. Frequency ratios resembling fragments of DNA regulatory patterns, specifically motifs compatible with human biology. Could this be coincidence, or evidence that the object knew of Earth life, or perhaps played a part in its origins? Before any formal report could be submitted, federal agencies issued cease and desist orders to every involved lab. The final leaked memo contained a chilling repeated statement. Countdown initialized. 283 Earth days remaining. This message did not originate from NASA. It was extracted from the object's infrared waveform. No proposed astronomical events matched the time frame until someone compared the timeline to past interstellar anomalies. Every 7 years, a new object appears, each more complex than the last. 3I Atlas might be the third stage of a larger sequence, and the countdown may signal not an event on Earth, but an arrival. One of the most alarming features in Webb's leaked images was not the object itself, but the linear shadow following it, a shadow that behaved unlike any natural phenomenon, unaffected by sunlight or angle, as though projected from within. Internal documents classified it as a self-shading body, a term with no precedent. If the object can generate its own shadow, it may be manipulating space-time. Weeks after it disappeared behind the sun, a faint recurring signal emerged near the hydrogen line, repeating every 12 hours and 3 minutes. Cross-referenced with past data, the same pattern appeared in Voyager 1's 1996 recordings, previously dismissed as static. Now it matched 3I Atlas perfectly, and the signal was intensifying. A final Webb spectrogram of the object's core emissions looked random, until an engineer mapped it in polar coordinates against Gaia star charts. The bursts aligned with stars in the Triangulum Galaxy, 2.7 million light-years away, forming a complete route, one that looped back to Earth. This wasn't a drifting fragment. It was a calculated journey. Despite overwhelming evidence, official statements still insist it's a harmless comet. But inside NASA, ESA, and Webb teams panic brews. SETI insiders whisper about a disturbing possibility. 3I Atlas may not be a ship, probe, or object, but a form of intelligence itself, communicating through gravity, radiation, and pattern, perceiving across time through entanglement. Webb might not have spotted an alien craft. It may have detected an alien mind, now aware of us. So what did the James Webb Telescope witness? Not a comet, not debris, not a stray traveler. It saw something that should not exist, something that should not move as it does, should not emit structured signals, and should not appear to stare back. If 3I Atlas is truly more than an object, if it is a message, a consciousness, or a returning intelligence, then Webb didn't just capture an image. It triggered a response. A countdown has started. A map has been revealed. A signal grows stronger. And NASA isn't afraid because they don't understand. They're afraid because they finally do. The question is no longer what 3I Atlas is, but why now? Why Earth? And what happens when the countdown reaches 0? If the Webb data is correct, this object isn't merely passing through. It's coming home.